nightmare in Gainesville. That's what it was, a nightmare. I was not fully confident that we were going to win that game. We played horrible all year long. Played bad in the Virginia game. We played really bad in the Austin Peay game. Somehow beat both those teams just because they were inferior opponents. But we've been playing bad all year long. This team has not looked right since kickoff against Virginia. But anyway, let's talk about the Florida game. Florida wins 29-16 over Tennessee. Total yards, Florida was at 349 yards. Tennessee was at 387. Tennessee did play much better in the second half, but first half was just something out of a nightmare. Joe Milton, he didn't play awful in this game, but he did not play well either. The play where he threw the ball up like it was a hot air balloon, where he basically gave Florida 7 points. You just can't do those things in SEC play. I don't know what to say. This Tennessee team, they go to Gainesville and they piss down their leg. Excuse my French, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, I just don't understand why they struggle so much in Gainesville. I don't know if there's some kind of curse or what, but for example, Tennessee was the 4th leading rushing team in the country. So you think we're going to run the ball very well? No, we run terribly. We have 100 yards total rushing. Florida rushed for 183 yards. Just pitiful performance. We did outthrow them, and it's the funny thing about this is Florida had the better passing team coming in this game. We had the better rushing team, and the roles completely reversed in this game. We were the much better throwing team, and they were the much better rushing team. Florida had a great game plan and just to keep the ball from us. I thought defensively our game plan was horrible. I don't know why we went zone coverage when we don't have the guys in the secondary to cover anybody. Kamal Hadden, he couldn't guard an 85-year-old grandma. And then that tackle on Trevor Etienne, the attempt where he bumped into him, was just the worst attempt I've ever seen in my life to try to tackle somebody. I don't even know what he was doing. I mean, you tackle him there, it's about a 30-yard gain. Instead, you let him go 70 yards for a touchdown. Just pitiful effort. It's just mind-boggling to see how they played. Penalties, they really plagued us. We had 79 yards in penalties. They had 30. And some of that was just straight garbage by the officials. The officials in this game were horrendous. There was 3 plays there that weren't even close that the officials missed calls on. They missed the blatant pass interference in the end zone on Keaton, and then that was the least of the obvious. And then the second thing was where they kicked the ball. They kicked the ball there, give Florida time to bring other guys in to come in fresh, where we had them on the ropes and we were driving down the field. The guy kicks the ball. I've never even seen that in a game. And then the third thing they did was they called us for a blindside block where he didn't even hit him hard enough to crack an egg, and they called that for a 15-yard penalty, and that ruined. That was 2 drives that they single-handedly ruined. There were actually 3 drives with the pass interference. They should have called pass interference, the blindside block, and then them touching the ball. So those 3 calls there. But I'm not saying we would have won the game. I do think Florida outplayed us. So not making excuses at all. We did not come down there ready to play. We were not focused. We played scared. Florida played harder. They wanted it more. And they outcoached us by a large margin in that first half. We were just not prepared in any way, especially defensively. Tim Banks, he did make corrections at halftime. I have to take my hat off to him for that. But first half-wise, it was horrible. I don't know where we go from here. In the video, the prediction video, I knew we would be in trouble if we got down at halftime, especially double digits at halftime, because this is what I was scared of. Tennessee has always started slow this year, and I knew that if we started slow again in Gainesville, we'd be in big trouble. Sure enough, we start off slow again. They're up 19 points at halftime, 26-7, and you just can't do that in Gainesville. I don't know why this team is just starting off so slow, and it just seems like they're sleepwalking. But you know, I knew that I think I predicted us to win 28-24, but I knew we had our issues, and I knew we weren't playing very well. You know, I think I had us picked to be 10-2 this year. We're not going 10-2 now, and that's even with Alabama playing horrible this year. I don't think we'll beat Alabama still. I think Alabama's still a better football team than we are. I don't know. Georgia's definitely going to beat us. Alabama, I think, will beat us. I mean, Kentucky will probably beat us. Missouri may beat us, and South Carolina might beat us. I think we're 8-4 best case scenario, 7-5 possible as well. We're just not a very good team. I hope that we get better. I'm hoping we get Cooper Mays back at some point. You know, Heupel's been saying we're going to get him back, but I mean, at this point, I don't know if dude's going to play this year. So, just a nightmare of a game. I hope we correct some things. Listen, Josh Heupel has forgotten more about football than I know about football, and he knows more. I mean, the best thing for this team, obviously. But I really hope he puts Nico in and at least gets him going for next year, getting some experience and getting some, starting playing time, because Joe Milton's just not the answer. He's not. This is such a quarterback-driven offense. You have to have really good quarterback play, and Joe Milton is a very average quarterback at best. I just hope we can just get Nico in there. Let's get him going. Let's get him ready to go, and then let's maybe by the the end of October we can be hitting on all cylinders. Because right now with Joe Milton in there, we're just a very subpar team. This is, like I said, this is a very quarterback-driven offense, and if you do not have a very good quarterback, you're going to struggle. Those false starts and stuff, that was on him. I mean, he's not knowing where the play clock is. He's the delay of games. Now, a lot of the false starts was the offensive line as well, but he's not even knowing where the play clock is. We have to call timeouts so we don't get a delay of game. He's just not a very he's a 6-year senior, but he acts like he is a true freshman, and that blows my mind that he's that old and he still makes these mistakes. So, we got UTSA coming up. I hope that somehow we can play better, get some continuity, and get ready for South Carolina. Because at this point right now, South Carolina's going to beat us too. I mean, we're just bad. We're not a very good football team. I think we're like a 3-touchdown favorite against UTSA. They lost to Army last week, but right now there's nobody on our schedule I'd circle and say that's a win. We're just not that good. So anyway, I'll have a breakdown of the UTSA team here in a couple days. But, Florida game kind of went like I feared it would. I thought we'd make enough plays. We were the much better team, but we didn't make the plays on the field, and we lost to Florida. And hats off to you Gator fans. You guys deserve this. You all played better. So anyway, go Vols, and hopefully we play better next week.